This is video, but
come on, man.
You didn't see me put it on
No, I wasn't paying attention to what you were doing. I wasn't paying attention at all.
We'll get it for the next one. What up, beautiful people? It's your boy Keanu Banks back in the building. It's Inside the Arsenal presents The Same Difference, Young Ebony and Ivory. Why are you looking like that? Are you looking at yourself?
No, I think, is there something on your screen? I'm like, there's something on Kenyatta's face, but it's on the screen.
It's on the screen.
Okay.
Me and young,
there we go.
Young,
I thought you were like peeling. I'm like, were you on the
Liam Neeson? What's his name?
I look like Liam Neeson's brother. That's what he said.
From the dollar store.
Yeah, the dollar store Liam Neeson. That's what I look like. So then we get home after that, after your friend Mo saying I look like Liam Neeson's dollar store brother, and I get a text. Apparently, Liam Neeson's mom died.
Oh,
yeah. So she's like, sorry for your loss that your mom passed away.
Man, jeez,
getting it from all over, man.
Well, speaking of celebrities, since we talking about Same Difference, you see they going after Mark Wahlberg?
No, I didn't see.
You haven't seen that? Yeah.
What are they going after Mark Wahlberg?
Well, you know, right now there's a lot going on in the world, and people aren't having it. If you're against the Black Lives Matter movement, they are coming after your neck. So,
did he say something?
Back in his day, in his youth, apparently, he was pretty violent and used the N-word a few times and beat up some kids. And
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch?
Yeah. I think, and even some Jewish people, he beat up some kids. So anyways, they trying to cancel him or whatever. But I'm like, it's 20 years ago. He was a kid. I'm not saying it's right, but I feel like there's bigger fish to fry, but in celebrity news, that's something that's going on.
Yeah. Listen, man. Everybody makes mistakes. Ooh, what happened there?
That's why.
People need to be able to grow and change. So
I hear you. Here's why I have a problem with it. You ready?
Because I don't know the story.
And maybe you're different. Because people say that all the time, right? Such and such apologize. Somebody apologize. Let them be, right? Cool. But if we bring up Michael Vick.
Yes, no, and no. A lot of people. No. Because
I've literally had friends who are supposed to be close to me say, hey, I don't care how much that dude apologizes. Never is he forgiven. For life, he's not forgiven.
I know we talked. Did we talk about it on the podcast? I know we talked about it because
we might have.
I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or not. But Michael Vick, if you don't know, I mean everybody knows what he did, right? But if you don't know, that dude has done a ridiculous amount of work for. Is it the SPCA? I don't know who it is, but to promote taking care of dogs and stuff like that, and he has completely changed everything, like his whole perspective on the whole thing. He's done so much work. So what he did was awful. And we talked about that, how that's how he grew up and that's what he was taught. But he has learned now that wasn't right. And the man is tireless what he's done for, I'm pretty sure it's the SPCA, wherever it is. Right. I think it's in Philadelphia,
People are allowed to make mistakes. And here's the thing.
Right.
Like, I think that there are a lot of people that are forgiving, but it's like selective forgiveness. Like some things it's like, yo, you don't just get to apologize and then that's it. You got to show something. So insert now. I don't know if you know this. I saved the article, but the creator of CrossFit.
Oh yeah, I read it because I know about it because you posted it. I read this what you did.
Right. So you can apologize, bro. We're not trying to hear you right now. You know what I'm saying? Because he did multiple things in posts that were just outlandish, right? And one of my boys put something in perspective though, because I'm like, well, Reebok canceled, Rogue, seeming like they kind of canceled, but they're like, well, if you just apologize, we'll be okay with it, right? But still, you're losing some good sponsorships, right, as you should. And my boy was like, he's a super business dude. And he was like, man, all they going to do is take him out of the position. Like, he won't be the face. Mm-hmm. They're going to create another LLC or something. And then he'll get paid in that LLC through whatever. So, like, I'm like, bro, you still get to win after this?
Yeah, no, and I read somebody. I think they posted that on your thing because I read that. And here, you know what my issue was with that was the worst apology ever. His apology
It was trash.
terrible.
It was always trash.
Apology. Okay, so let's back up to the thing about can we talk about the magazine and the horrible apology? Okay, so here in Phoenix, there's a magazine called Arizona Foothills.
Oh, that part.
Yeah, and
let's talk about it.
She's the girlfriend of the owner. Is that what she is? She's
the wife.
The wife of the owner.
So I trained.
Right. And
listen to this.
So she said,
you want me? I'll pull it up.
You talk about what she said, okay? And then everybody went nuts, right? Because what she said was awful. And then I got you. And then she gave an apology, and I got so mad when I saw the apology. Like it's the worst apology ever. So here's the thing, and it was funny because when we were listening to the apology video, my daughter, I have a grown daughter that doesn't live at home anymore. She was in the kitchen, and I got so mad, and I'm like, I said, would I ever have let you apologize like that ever? She's like, absolutely not. She's like, you taught us from the time we were little that you have to say what you're apologizing for, like specifically what you did wrong, and you have to talk about how you're going to fix that behavior in the future. That's what a real apology is. And this apology, go ahead, you got what she said.
Yeah, she's AZ Foothills magazine, right-hand woman, if you will. So during all this, you guys know all the stuff that's going on. People are protesting injustices for people that look like me and the whole nine, right? So she said, isn't it time for one of these deranged individuals who do the mass shootings to come out and help the police? Now, this is you, like, advocating for people to die. People who are peacefully protesting. Now, I know some of y'all going to be out there talking about looting and whatever. Listen, man. Listen.
We don't even need to go there. We don't need to talk about that. Because she didn't specifically talk about looters or anything like that. She didn't. She's
like, a mass shooter needs to help the police.
Right.
Now, imagine it's you or your family or your friends or anybody who you know that is going out. Because the masses of people are peacefully protesting.
Right.
I see them with signs. My friends are out there. There's girls who take my classes that have gone, even here in Arizona.
And taking their little kids and stuff like that. Right.
And taking a knee or putting their hands up and saying, listen, man, we just want y'all to treat us like humans and treat us like humans. And I can't even say like animals because animals get better treatment. So I don't even know. Like, stop treating us like already criminals if we haven't done nothing. Right. So for her to say that in one of the biggest magazines, I think it was the #1 magazine out here.
Probably.
Or it goes, I know it goes to like over 1 million people's houses.
Yeah, it's got a big following.
I was in it before.
Training.
I was in the magazine.
Yeah, like as a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
and I trained her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what she said was horrible. But on top of that,
she got dragged though.
And she did get dragged. So now the brand is at stake, right? So now she comes out and makes the worst apology.
Well, I got the apology video. Hold on. You keep talking.
And that was the frustrating part because it was 100% clear that her apology is not about. She doesn't feel any remorse for what she said.
No,
she doesn't feel. She doesn't. She's not. She's just trying to save the brand. She's like, "Oh, this is going to hurt my business now." Okay, can you play it?
So this is trash 101 class. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear it.
Hey guys, Hannah here. I'm not making this anything fancy. I just wanted to apologize to everyone for, the AZ Foothills fam, my husband, my friends, family, the community, for, any hurtful things I may have said. And I never intended to hurt anybody. I would never hurt anybody intentionally. So I wanted to give my deepest apology, and I really hope that you guys accept it.
So,
may have said any hurtful things I may have said.
And this is the problem. This is what we talk about. This is what is, to some, frustrating and upsetting. I won't give her that much power over me, but I laugh at it because it's so predictable, and two,
Right.
it's like you didn't even you apologized, kind of.
No, that's not. I'm not going to give her that much.
And there was no accountability.
Right.
What I may have said, what you mean, you wrote it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm this person. If you don't like someone because of the color of their skin, or you don't like someone because of their hair, whatever it is. But once you say something like that, as far as shooting and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to own it. And if it was in the state of I don't know what, but whatever the excuse is, at least here's the problem. People say stuff like this who are in these positions, or they make a lot of money, they're successful, so they feel like they can say whatever they want. And across the board in this climate, the reason why it's the way it is right now is because there's no consequences.
Right.
You can kneel on someone's neck and kill them in front of the world. There's no consequence. You can say this, give a zero accountability apology, and then blamed it on her brain tumor.
Oh, yeah. We didn't cover that part, right? So, yeah. That was the tweet, right? That she had a brain tumor and that's making her sick.
Bro,
Come on, man.
they put the picture of her with the scar on the back of her neck and the picture of her in the hospital. Here's the going thing. So they call Karens.
Yeah.
You start something, get caught or get called out, and then you play the victim. Now we supposed to feel sorry for you. And you couldn't even say sorry to the people that you sent this out to. So she clearly deleted her social media, but they started losing some advertisers.
Oh, yeah. They're going to lose a lot, right? That in the current climate, that could cost you that whole magazine. That whole magazine could be gone. Right.
Right. But so think about me. I'm someone who trained her.
Right.
So I'm like, if that's how you feel.
Right. Yeah, no, I know. She was your customer.
She was my substitute customer because my boy was training her, but still.
But your boy is also...
He's also black too. And so, again, it's like, yo.
I brought it up because it's the worst apology ever. Okay, so let's compare and contrast that with Drew Brees, because I know we talked about Drew Brees. Did you see? Okay, now listen. What he said, horrible and wrong, and his apology was awful, but where I give him some credit, and I know you don't fully agree with me on this one, but where I give him some credit was that I don't even want to call him by his name. I'm not the person who lives in the Oval Office right now.
The Orange Man.
The Orange Man.
Okay.
Came
Check
out.
the Orange
Yeah,
Man.
and he came out and said, "Oh yeah, what you said was awesome. That's right. We need to protect the flag." And Drew Brees, to his credit, came out and said, the protests that Colin Kaepernick was doing, all of that, it was never about the flag. It never had anything to do with that. It was never about disrespecting the military. It was only about the police brutality and the way that black people were treated in this country. And we have to understand that. And he responded directly to the person in charge of the country right now. And doesn't matter. I mean, I give him credit for that. I give him a lot of credit for making that statement to that person. All the other things, I agreed that what he said was wrong and all that kind of stuff. But at least now it seems like someone has educated him and he understands.
Well, that's part of it. Is one of the main things you just said is about educating. But here's this guy who is surrounded by so-called black folks.
Literally, like in a huddle, surrounded.
In a huddle,
right.
In the city. You're in Louisiana.
Right,
bro,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, he's a minority.
And I just feel like, I don't know, I'm going to play both sides, but to say that, are we really not having these conversations until now? Because I feel like you should have known better. Now, did you come at the Orange Man? Yes, you came at the Orange Man. But I'm like, did you come at him genuinely that way? Or is it because your teammates, present and former, came out making videos basically saying, hey, bro, you're wrong. Because I guess I'll tell you what, if there is a football season, which ain't nobody protecting you when I know that's how you feel about people. Like, bro, we not. But I feel like people grow up in their beliefs, in their little boxes and whatever, and you don't have a choice to like where you live and where you grew up. You told me that. Like, I grew up in Canada and there was no black people.
I mean, there was some, but very few. Yes.
Like 2.
My high school, there was 2,000 people. There was 3.
Okay, so
I believe there was 3.
So 3 for every 2,000 people, right? And but recently, my best friend came to town. Shout out to Nate Jackson, comedian, and brought the whole squad. And there was a lot of black people inside your house.
I was the only white person.
Right, we flipped this, right?
Oh no, Jess was here. Jess was here.
And Jess was here, but
yeah,
still,
absolutely.
And we had a blast.
It was awesome. Yeah.
And you made a new friend, Mo.
Mo's my ride or die right now. Just so everybody knows,
they hit it off right away, and part of that is like I wanted to see y'all. I wanted you guys to see some of like not just my people because they're of color, but like how we operate and how different it is, but how there's similarities.
I didn't think that's the funny thing. I didn't think it was different at all. It was just a barbecue. It was just people hanging out.
But they were scared to come in the house.
No, I understand that. Yeah, but then so I hope that both sides were educated that hey, you know what, these people are just normal people too, right?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. We've been having these conversations, right? To like, I'm not saying before you would have felt some type of way, but if I just came straight out the gate with 10, like you would be like, man, what? Right? But we could have conversations where it was like some people would take this wrong, right? My dude Kevin shared not his whole life, but he let us and you guys into some dark stuff we won't repeat about his life. Just a reality of his journey, right? Because he's an older black male, right?
Yeah.
And then we're all vibing, whatever. And then you bring out the watermelon.
Okay, I needed the room in the fridge.
He brings out the watermelon, and everybody's like, bruh, really? I just told my life story, and you reward me with the watermelon? But we was joking.
I know, it was funny.
And I defended to say, hey, we've been over here eating water. I'm here every day working, so like, we've been over here eating watermelon. But it was hilarious.
It was fun.
We were able to laugh at something that maybe some outsiders wouldn't get if they weren't, like if you had to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it didn't make us feel some type of way, even though there is a history behind black people eating watermelon and being made fun of and blackface and the whole nine. Right. It was none of that. The timing was trash. But we also had pineapple and we also barbecue.
I blame my wife, Anna Montana, for everybody who watches the videos. I blame my wife because she said, go put the leftovers in the fridge. And they didn't fit because I had this huge plate of watermelon. I'm like, and it was time for dessert. I'm like, I'm going to bring the watermelon. And I grabbed the watermelon out of the fridge and I went,
this is probably not going to
This is not going to go over well. But I got to do this anyway. So I brought the watermelon out there, and everybody made fun of me, and then it was
And then we ate all the watermelon.
And all the watermelon was eaten.
So it wasn't tripping.
Not just you guys. Everybody ate the watermelon.
That's facts.
It was excellent watermelon, yes. Okay.
But that's the beauty of people coming together.
Well, and that's the beauty of what we're doing here. That's why we have these conversations, right? It's because there's stuff I don't know, and there's stuff you don't know. That's why it's the same difference, right? So I don't know. I hope that I wouldn't have said anything like what. Maybe I would have. Honestly, maybe I would have said what Drew Brees said. I don't know, 5 years ago. I'd like to think that I read enough and know what's going on enough to have not said it.
Right.
And it certainly helps a lot that I have you here every day, right? And we're talking about all this stuff. So I certainly get a much different perspective on it from that standpoint. So I think I've learned a lot. But even if I had said it, right? If someone else came to me and went, dude, listen, this is why you can't say that. This is what that means. This is all these things, right? And if I apologize and listen, I'm really sorry. I didn't understand. This is what I've learned. This is what it means. That I think that people would appreciate that apology that I'm learning and growing. So same thing with Marky Mark and a Funky Bunch, right? Yeah. If he genuinely doesn't feel that way now, if he did when was that song out? Like 1992 or whatever?
Yeah, that's a long time.
Right, I mean, if that song, it's been 20 years. So if it's 20 years later and he's a different person now, we got to cut him some slack. You know what I mean?
But we're in a time where people are like, there needs to be a consequence now because people are getting away with there not being one. So they're comfortable with the disrespect. Not saying, yeah, his stuff is old, but he was a rapper. Who influenced you to rap? We did.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So again, as it's called cultural appropriation, right? You want to rap and whatever, but you was also throwing this word out and beating up people that look like me. Okay, you made your mistakes. It's no different from when they brought up an old tweet from Kevin Hart.
Yes, and he lost the Oscars thing. Right. And everybody went to Kevin Hart's defense and went, that is not who he is today. Right? But there was a consequence. He didn't get to do the Oscars.
So Drew Brees, good luck next season. Because there might not have been that big of a target, but like I think that there will be some people who are still like, bro, this is how you feel. But to have the conversation is where it starts. I'm just like, I can't believe that you're 70% of your team looks like me, and you didn't know that wasn't okay.
Yeah, I can't believe it either.
And the whole thing about people turned this whole thing into it being about a flag and disrespecting the truth. I'm like, it's always spun into something that it's not. Like, nobody was saying that.
No.
And so then what is the difference now? People are protesting. And yeah, there's people looting and whatever. But when sports teams wins championships,
people do it too. I know.
And then it's all good. Or when you're mad at LeBron James goes to Miami, you're burning jerseys and shoes, and you were mad at Nike for repping Kaepernick burning. So what do y'all want? That's my new thing. Right. What do y'all want? Because it doesn't make sense. Now they should be peacefully protesting. Well, the brother took a knee. Yeah, and you said that's not right. That was peaceful. I don't know how you get more peaceful than that.
I always said it has to, if it doesn't, offend is not the right word, but if it doesn't create some kind of a problem, then it's not an effective protest, right? Like if it doesn't make you feel something and want to talk about it, then it wasn't an effective protest. So you have to, right? Rosa Parks pissed some people off because she wouldn't give up her seat on the bus, right? Those dudes at the Olympics whose names I really should know and I don't, but you know who I'm talking about, right? Yeah, thank you. Those guys. That caused a controversy. People talked about it, so it helped. If Colin Kaepernick was protesting inside his bathroom, right? If he was, that doesn't do any good. The whole point to a protest is no matter whether you believe in what he's doing or not, he has to do it publicly, and because he has such a huge platform, and in Colin Kaepernick's defense, he started by sitting on the bench. Remember that? He was. Right.
But that was even.
Well, and then people got pissed at him, and so then he talked to a Green Beret who said, listen, how about this? This is how we show respect.
But isn't Green Beret military?
Yeah, it's a military. Yeah.
So
he talked to a guy, an Army guy, who said, this is how we give respect at a grave. Like when a grave of one of our fallen comrades, we take a knee, and that's how we give respect. So he said, I think you could do this. Mm-hmm. It would still be respectful to the military and to the flag, because that's what we do. And yet you could still get your point across. So he changed from sitting on the bench to doing the one knee thing because someone in the military told him to do that. And then everybody still twisted it around and said, and because that's the narrative that they wanted to hear.
Right. And it's the hypocrisy of, you need to peacefully protest and it's like, yeah, that's not how y'all stole countries. And like,
doesn't work.
It's never been that. Like, hey, if we get on our one knee, there are literally people saying, hey, the cops are doing it, not all, but are doing this for, as we call, clout chasing. For the pictures, they're on the knee and acting like, okay, we're on one accord. And as soon as those pictures get taken, they shooting the rubber bullets.
Yep, and tear gas and all that.
So I'm like, stop going to the gunfight with a plastic butter knife. Mm-hmm. That's just I'm not saying it need to be all out war or whatever, but I'm like, people them things ain't just rubber. They're like metal covered with rubber on
Well,
top.
they're hard rubber, and
People's losing eyes.
They're intended to shoot. You're supposed to bounce them at people. You're supposed to shoot them into the ground and bounce them into people. They're not.
They
They're
dumping
just,
straight at you.
Yeah, from close range too.
So that's wild stuff. But
I read an awesome tweet today, just to go back to the people getting shot with rubber bullets. So some lady tweeted that she lost an eye to a rubber bullet, and she said, by the power of social media, I found like 8 other people who also lost an eye in the protests, and 3 of us are going camping next weekend because
are they suing?
well, that's probably coming too, right? So they said we're going to go camping because nobody else can understand this experience that we've had, right?
That's powerful.
And I'm like, that's really cool. The weird part was, not weird, the cool part was somebody replied to the tweet and he goes, hey, I'm a researcher that builds bionic eyeballs.
Nice.
And he goes, I'll do all yours for free. Just reach out to me. # Black Lives Matter. I'm like,
That's dope.
That's the coolest thing I've seen today. That's pretty neat.
There's some silver line. There's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, just so everybody. That's me. I'm always like the positive. Let's find out. How is this going to be a good thing going forward?
I'm like, burn this up.
And I'm always like,
tired.
but look, this
Just
happened.
burn it and start over.
So, well, part of that's true too, right? So some of it, yeah.
But yeah. So back to the fruit thing.
All right,
I have all these toys.
I have toys. Okay.
Listen, I have this thing that I'm like things that my white friends say, and apparently I have to add things that my white friends have that they think that everyone has, and it's not true. And so people might have it. I posted a little story on my Instagram, but I'm like, I never seen this stuff. I didn't grow up with none of these toys in the kitchen.
I don't think I said that everyone has all of these things. But okay, wait.
The salad one, you were like everybody.
I thought everybody had a. Let's start with the salad spinner.
He thought everyone had one of these, and I'm like, bro, did nobody grow up with that? What is that?
It's a salad
It
spinner.
looks like a bird cage.
So you put you wash the lettuce and you put it in here. It goes in there.
You put in a dryer sheet.
No, you don't put it in a dryer sheet. It's not like that.
Bounce.
You don't, and then you put the top
Glade
on,
with the.
and then you spin it.
So that's not for
The dressing.
That's
no,
okay.
it just
Let
gets
it
the
be known.
water. Then you take this out. Now the salad's dry and the water's in here. You pour it out. So you got dry lettuce. That's how you dry. I know everybody's like,
You know what we do?
paper towel. Bro.
That's right.
Okay.
Lettuce, paper towel, call it a day.
Environmentally friendly and it's faster.
I
I'm just saying.
don't know if it's faster.
I grew up with a salad spinner in my house when I was a kid, and my mom was like, "Hey, can you help get dinner ready?" This is one of my jobs was to do the salad spinner.
My job was to take out the trash, clean my room, and sometimes wash the dishes. There was no salad spinner in the house. There probably was no salad. Anyway.
You don't even eat salad.
I don't really eat. Someone asked me, so are you going to get one now? I was like, absolutely not. I don't eat salad as much as you guys think I eat salad. I do eat spinach.
Mr. Vegan who doesn't eat salad.
Yeah, I just don't like making salads. That salad today was good,
Maybe
but no.
you would if you had a salad spinner.
Nah,
Maybe
bro.
that's what it is.
Maybe because
See, the worst
I like
part
it wet.
about-
I don't like it dry. Take it how you want.
We're still talking about salad? No.
Kind of.
Kind of, okay. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, right. Okay. So I thought everybody had one. Apparently not. But
My DM, some people was on your team. One lady said, I'm from Canada. Let me see if I can find it. It's a Canadian thing, bro.
that could be too, right? Because that's where I grew up. But who said his mama had one in her house?
Nate Jackson said his mama had one, but he just found out about a week ago because quarantine, and it was in the back corner behind statues and you know what I mean, historic stuff.
But it's not just a white thing. It's not just a
I
Canadian
didn't
thing.
say
Because
that.
but that's the inference, right? Because Nate's mom has one. So
There's some black people in my DMs that was like, I have one, and this one girl said I grew up with one, and I was like,
But apparently,
she also lives here.
Apparently, it's not as ubiquitous as I. You like
That's a
that
good
ubiquitous?
word.
It's
I
not
know
as
a rapper
ubiquitous as I
named
think.
Ubiquitous.
Really?
Actually, I don't know him,
But
he's a rapper.
you're aware of a rapper.
I'm aware, yeah.
Okay.
UB.
So anyway, salad spinner. If you don't have one, get one. Great way to make a salad if you're making a lot of salads. The funny thing is that now I just buy the salad all pre-made in the bag, so I don't even use it anymore. I literally had to dig it out of the back of my finger to make the salad, to make the lettuce for the burgers.
Oh, Jenny said, I'm related to Fred. I don't own one.
Oh, my cousin? My cousin threw me under the bus. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Why are you talking about that sooner? I'm going to text her.
I'm going to give you, like, somebody said, man, shake that little residue off.
Shake it off? You be
Everything
there all
made
day.
with water anyway. She said, just shake it off.
You don't want your salad to be all wet.
Oh, here goes. She said, come on, Kenyatta. I always had one, and I'm not Canadian. Must be a Boston thing. It's East Coast. Let me see. No, that's about where.
I'm not from the East Coast of Canada, though.
Let me see. Oh, here's a black woman. Stephanie said, nope, nope, and nope. Don't have one, didn't grow up with one. This emoji.
Come on, Stephanie.
Stephanie wasn't having it.
But maybe she should have it. Maybe Stephanie should get one. It would up her salad game.
Aaron said, I have one. Hardly use it. I just let lettuce dry on a towel. We have a second one that my boys use for crafts. So they just making other stuff. I'm just giving you.
I know. I hear you. I don't really use mine either. So I understand.
Here, this will help make you out. A black woman, Alexis, said, yep, my mom had a white one with a button on the lid. You had to push it down a few times and it literally spun. And I said, to dry the lettuce? She said, yes, because she firmly believed in washing lettuce no matter how many times it's pre-washed, according to the packaging. And then she goes, LOL, and my mom ain't bougie.
That's really funny. That's the other thing. Now that all the lettuce is pre-packaged now, you don't need it anymore, right? The lettuce is already pre-washed and stuff, so nobody's,
So when Brandy said, yep, she's black, she said, yep, and they are super handy.
Thank you.
I said, you grew up with one? She said, yep, she also lives in Scottsdale.
Thank you.
Just throwing that out there.
Thank you.
Just throwing it. I think that's everybody who commented on that.
I can't believe my cousin threw me on the bus.
Oh, wait.
There's going to be words later.
Here, this will be interesting. Elizabeth said, yes, growing up, we got a lettuce spinner at some point, but I can't remember what year they came out. It had to be in the 80s. I was in Germany, and nobody was spinning lettuce. She said, I do still have one, and actually I use it for many other things besides drying lettuce. I use it mostly for washing pesticides off fruits and vegetables, because then you can rinse the dirt off really easily. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Then she said, you should get one. They seem like a silly luxury, but they're actually useful. I'm not into gimmicks or extra stupid shit in my kitchen.
Oh, that's Beth from the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. No, she's awesome. Thank you.
She said some people have really bizarre stuff, which will take me to the next bizarre thing.
Wait, I'm looking for something on my phone. So there was an article this morning that I read. 28 things you need to buy from Sur La Table, and the lettuce spinner was on it. I forgot to send it to you because I was going to be like, dude, they're even telling people to go buy a lettuce spinner, but
Nobody
I can't.
got that.
Okay, next.
My homeboy's response.
Just laughing.
Just laughing. He's in Philly, East Coast. This is my boy from college, Gary. Gary said, I have one now, but I'm 38. Just learned about them in the last 10 years. They work well, though. Wait, pause, ... A white woman put me on to that.
That's funny.
Okay. This is how we coming together, guys. Salad spinners. Some of y'all are salad tossers. That's your business.
This apple slicer core thing, right?
See?
You put the apple on top.
Who doing this?
You don't. This is everybody's.
When I buy an apple, I'm just eating the apple like a grown man.
So this may
you have kids
because I have kids, right? And so the kids need their apples.
You put in their lunch.
You put in their lunch and stuff like that.
Ain't nobody going to school. It's quarantine.
But I've had this for longer than I had this pre-quarantine. It's like I just got this.
Like you got this all for quarantine.
Yeah, so you just slice the apple, right? You just the core. Then the core ends up in here, and then these are all the little slices. It's very useful.
I mean, I see the usefulness.
I use this a lot.
But I just eat apples.
No, I understand.
If I pull out an apple, I'm eating the whole apple. I don't need slices.
I use this a lot because my kids like their apples sliced, so that's useful. But
is this the same company that make the salad spinner?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I don't even know who this is. Probably made in China.
I mean, we giving free plugs to whoever y'all.
I don't know who it is. Progressive also.
Insurance?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
but so now there's a big version of this. This is where we got into the conversation. This is where it went
the rubber meets the road, cuz.
It's a watermelon slicer. So you cut the watermelon in half, and then you just put this on top, and then the watermelon comes out perfectly sliced, and you get this little.
I saw it.
All right.
It was dope. It was fast. I feel like it just took away the great. Listen, I used to have this video. It was me, Nate, my friend Aline. Aline is from Guam, and she know how to cut. She cut a watermelon in ways I've never seen a watermelon cut before. And I'm going to have to ask her to send me a video this summer of her cutting a watermelon. Because that's quicker, but I feel like she was cutting with love. You know what I'm saying? Kind of felt like, man, you really want. That's not love. This is like the quickie. And she was like, we're going to take our time and like date and wine and dine. You know what I'm saying? Foreplay. That was like, wham, bam, thank you, man, get out. You know what I'm saying? Leave the money on the dresser. It's like that.
I believe that Aline is more talented at loving a... Aline. Mm-hmm. I believe that she is more talented at loving a watermelon than I am.
Yeah.
I don't have those kinds of nice...
Aline, I need a video of you making... She's in the Patreon, so she's going to see this.
All right.
I need a video of you cutting the water. It wasn't... Me and Nate both were like, I never seen no one cut a watermelon like that. It was impressive. We recorded it. It's just been like 2 years. So...
In my defense...
You have a banana slicer, too.
I do not own a banana...
And a cherry something.
We're coming to that one. In my defense, we did not purchase the watermelon slicer. It was a gift.
From your black friend?
No. And when we got it, I said, that's stupid. It's going to take up a lot of space in the cupboard. Why do we have that? And my wife was like, I think it's fun. And so she kept it. And we've actually used it a lot this summer.
Because I'm here.
No, not because. This is the first summer we've had it. Let's try. Let's get
stuff is adding up. It's the first summer you had it. I'm here daily.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
All right. Okay, so...
We're mending the gap with
the last one. Wait, that watermelon slicer was super sharp and it's in the bag and I'm trying not to slice my finger
don't cut
off.
your finger off. He got a bag of kitchen toys.
Okay, this one is a cherry picker. So you put the cherry in there and then you push down and it pops the cherry pit out the bottom.
Or you just put a cherry in your mouth, spit the seed out. And if you got talent, ladies, you make a knot with the stem with your tongue just to show out.
Which is true. That's how I eat cherry. That's how I eat a cherry.
You make the knots too?
No, I can't do that.
Oh, okay.
Can you?
No, I never tried.
Okay. But
for the ladies.
You're right. It is. It is. I think my wife could do that. I think that's why I married her.
Yeah, probably. She's got 2 kids.
But which is great if you're going to eat the cherry. But what if you got to make like a cherry pie and you got to pit all the cherries? Or what if you got kids and you need to get the pits out so you can feed them to your kids? You ever tried to take the pit out of a cherry with a knife? It is hard.
No, because one, I never had nothing in my soul wanted me to make a cherry pie. And 2, I don't have kids or a wife. So, I don't know. Pumpkin pie don't require that much.
No, pumpkin, you just scrape it out the inside.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then who do you make pumpkin pie out of real pumpkin? No, everybody buys it in the can.
Nah, but I'm just saying, if I was going to eat a pie, it would be apple, pumpkin, or sweet potato.
You would need a cherry pie?
I wouldn't make one. If someone made one, I might eat it. But cherry pie is like literally, when did you make a cherry pie? Ever.
Cherry pie is awesome.
But when do you make one?
Well, I don't make a lot of pie. I mean, I can make a pie, but I don't.
It has to be like number 6 of top 10 pies on earth.
Okay, I don't know how we got talking about pies.
Because of your cherry pitter thing. That's what you said it was for.
This just went sideways, but I'm going to bring this up now because
right.
So we're talking. The whole point to this podcast is things that are different, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my dad's favorite pie and my favorite pie that we each get one on our birthdays and usually on Father's Day. So we each get.
So you don't do cake, you do pie.
We do pie.
Okay.
Is a raisin pie.
Pause.
See, I knew that's where.
Bro, what? What?
That's why I brought it up, because I knew you were going to have that reaction.
Wait, Voss?
A raisin
Voss?
pie.
What?
I think,
Voss's das?
I think it's actually vegan. I think we could make a vegan. I think it's just
Bruh,
raisins
that
and sugar.
sounds horrible.
It's really, really sweet. So you have to be okay with that.
Who out there has had a raisin pie?
Well, now I got to make it because
I don't. Give me the Costco sample. Put a toothpick on a little piece. A raisin. What's in it? Just raisins.
but you boil them in like sugar and stuff like that. So I have to make you one. I can't explain it, but I knew you were going to do that. I told you that. Raisin pie is the bomb.
What part of Canada are you from?
I'm from the western part of Canada.
The Western Canada is where this comes from. Ain't nobody I never even heard. Even my other white friends ain't never been like, hey, bro, you want that? I've heard about them doing silly stuff like putting raisins in the potato salad, but I ain't never heard of a raisin pie.
What's raisins and potato salad?
Man, listen, it's a thing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a white people thing?
Oh, yeah.
Like a curry potato salad, or like just a regular plain old mayonnaise potato salad?
Mayonnaise, throw some just throw it off. No. We like, why did you do that?
No, that's not right. What? That's not right. My grandmother, who was the greatest pie baker ever, she used to make. And as a matter of fact,
she made raisin pie.
She made raisin pie. But when she passed, the minister was doing the service. Mm-hmm. He actually talked about that. He's like, we're all going to miss Evelyn's pie baking, and like she was legendary for. So she and all kinds of pies.
So that recipe you got from.
But the raisin pie recipe was hers, and so my dad, that was his thing. That his mama would make him a raisin pie. Oh, mom's gonna make. And then so I started doing it too when I was a kid. So that's my dad and me. That's our thing. It's a raisin pie.
I ain't mad at it. I'm just saying that, like, my mom made cakes.
Dude, you left. You got up.
I had to walk it off because I couldn't. I was trying to put the words together and visualize, like what would that consist of? And I'm like, what? A raisin pie? Where they do that at? And apparently
just
where
in
you're
house.
Western Canada. Yeah. So your kids eat, the girls eat.
One of them does.
One of them was like, this is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know which one it is, too.
Sophie was like, this is trash.
Yes.
Yeah, Sophie is straightforward. Like, I'm not going to hold you. I'm not eating that. So I'm just saying, like, that's interesting. Now y'all see why we do this. Because
right.
I would have never, the last time I probably had a cherry pie was like them little ones you get in the package.
The Hostess.
You know what I'm saying? Out the vending machine, you having a rough day in college, and that's all you had was $1.
The little Hostess pies. Those were good.
I don't think I even like cherry like that.
We're gonna have to.
I would even get the apple pie from McDonald's back in the day.
Oh, McDonald's apple pies
was good. Yeah, that's not. But you see, they didn't have a raisin one.
No, they don't. No, I'm telling you.
Hey, the world is going crazy right now. You might want to present this to somebody.
Everybody that I tell,
we can make a killer.
They're all like, you get a what? What kind of pie? So it's not just.
So your other white friends are like, bro, we don't even do that.
Yeah, it's just me. I think it's just my family. I mean, that's not true. There have been times when I have been in restaurants or some curling clubs or whatever around Canada where they do have raisin pie on the menu, but it's never the same as my grandma's. So
okay, well, I'm just saying if you ever trying to make a quick song,
just start doing.
Right now, while people are just raisin.
Can we make it hipster? If I can make it hipster, then maybe we could sell.
I don't know how you make it hipster.
How do you make? I'm trying to.
You make a rap video like some other people are now.
Yeah, and sell it. No, we're not going to go there. We're just not. We're not. No.
Yeah, you got to put.
No.
You got to make it. An aphrodisiac.
No.
I won't.
I'm trying to figure out how to make the pie crust vegan now. If I'm going to figure that out, we're gonna get vegan.
I would try it.
I know you would.
You
don't like sweets like that, though. I don't think you're gonna like it. But
I have an inner fat child, and this inner fat child has a sweet tooth, but it's like within reason. And I feel like raisin pie is right outside of reason.
Okay, so something I never tried till I moved here.
Greens.
No, I had tried greens. No, sweet potato pie. That's not a thing. That's a very
That's us.
That's very specific to the black community.
That's
sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm a fan.
But sweet potato pie just sounds like, might be. Raisin is like, how?
No, it doesn't. Sweet potato pie sounds like, why would you put a yam in a pie? That sounds awful.
But it's so good.
I'm not, yes, it is. I agree. I'm not arguing that.
I feel like if we were like, would you rather try a sweet potato pie or a raisin pie? I think the sweet potato pie would be gone first. Unless we were in the western bush.
Right, yeah.
Up in the corner somewhere.
It depends on.
Where they probably don't have sweet potatoes, so you can't really.
No, they do. We have sweet potatoes.
Oh,
here.
okay.
But
Maybe.
that sounds like a weird thing to put in a pie to me. Like, I don't.
It sounds weirder than raisins.
It's a vegetable.
What is a raisin?
It's a fruit. It's a grape.
See, grape pie don't even sound right.
Who puts a vegetable in a pie?
Listen, man, we had survival tactics. So this might have been, part of the survival tactics. Like, hey, the greatness.
Right.
But who was like, hey, I got these raisins from, what's it called? Mermaid? Who was on that box?
Sun-Maid raisins.
Sun-Maid, the little chick on the front. Man, them little boxes.
Yeah.
And they just started putting it in a crust. I feel like that was a survival tactic too.
Maybe
your mama wasn't telling like, hey, it was some rough times in Canada, and I just decided all I had left was a crust and some raisins and some sugar.
It would not surprise me if both of those things, right? I mean, so in Canada, especially when my grandmother was younger, you didn't get fresh fruit you just got it in the summer, right? So everything was canned or preserved, right? So raisins would last all winter long. So it's entirely possible that was the only sweet thing they had. What happens if we put this in a pie? That would not surprise me.
They was bored.
Right.
It's cold outside. You can't go nowhere.
Right.
Kind of like quarantine.
Right.
So somebody probably right now making cilantro pie or something. You want this whole pie to taste like soap? Got you.
I'm guessing that's how sweet potato pie came around too.
Might
We don't have any fruit around, but this is kind of sweet. Let's make a pie. I'm guessing that's how it came around.
Survival, like grilled cheese.
Right. Like grilled cheese.
You're a grilled cheese sandwich?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was a survival tactic. Like, all I had was 2 pieces of bread and some cheese. You know what I mean?
I was going to talk about greens because you brought that up, right? Now, listen, okay, before I
wish your wife was here because that conversation was hilarious.
Oh, because she never had them.
Because I was like, greens, and she was like, you mean like broccoli? And I was like, no,
like
greens.
Like collard greens, yeah.
And she's a Latina, but I was like, greens. And she was like, no, what are you talking about?
Okay, so before
Black people staple.
I'm going to preface this comment with,
okay,
I'm a fan of greens. I've had them in restaurants where they're fabulous, so I like them.
In the South.
In the South, yeah.
Atlanta.
Atlanta, I had some in Arkansas that were really good, but yeah, in the South. Okay, so, but that is not a part of a plant that you would normally think, oh, I'm going to eat that. Because they're really bitter if you just, eat them, right? Like normal. But, they put stuff in them. And
they put ham
in there and lots of salt and stuff like that. They're great. I don't know that they're really very healthy. I don't think that.
You don't think so? I think they're healthy.
I think that extra stuff.
Well, I don't eat it like that now. But
right.
I think that, and not to be funny, but I think the pork and the whatever, that came from still the survival.
Right.
Of this is what we have. How do you make this taste better?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, to make it taste better. Yeah, because they're bitter on their own, right? So that's what I agree. Yeah. So that's what makes it taste
I
better.
wouldn't just eat some greens just cause.
No, you wouldn't.
I barely eat salad.
Put that, you wouldn't just boil that and eat it on its own.
Nah, you got to put something in there.
Yeah, no, that would not be good.
I don't know what the substitute would be for vegans, but I could ask Maya's Kitchen. Shout out to Maya's Kitchen out here.
You have
they
make vegan greens?
I have, but I don't know what they put in to flavor it. Because I know it ain't no Porky Pig in there.
Well, I think you could put just about anything in it. I mean, now,
it'll
right?
just take
up the flavor, right? As long as you got some. What else is traditional? Sweet potato pie.
Everything else is up for debate, right? You could say banana pudding or.
Oh, banana pudding! You go to Atlanta, banana pudding. I have a friend. The one I was actually helping move yesterday. No, she was working in is it Columbus, Georgia?
That's where my grandma from.
Yeah, right. And she said that they had banana pudding at every meal. She's like, every meal there's banana pudding afterwards.
I have a body butter. Shout out to Tish. I'm doing all the plugs.
You got everybody.
That's banana pudding.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Did it taste good?
Mm-hmm. I didn't taste it.
You didn't eat it. It smelled good.
I put it on and I was like, damn, I'm mad I'm home alone. I got to lay down. I'm smelling this good. It was a great travesty.
I love it. Whenever I go to Georgia, I'm gonna get some.
So my mom was a certified banana pudding maker.
Oh, really?
And when I moved out here 8 years ago, one Thanksgiving, when I was celebrating that, I called her and said I need the recipe. And my friends who I live with destroyed it.
So you made a banana pudding.
I made it.
And it was good.
Oh, yeah. I just got hey, can you help me? Yep. And I was like, this feels like home. Because she made it for every holiday. And it would be the thing that they would be like, did your mom make the banana pudding? Yep. And it would not last.
Did you see the bananas in my kitchen?
Yeah.
You still got the recipe?
I could get it. I'll make it for y'all. I won't be able to eat it.
What's in it? Oh, it's Jello.
Just the Jello stuff will be. But I'll make it for y'all.
You know what? There's got to be a vegan substitute.
I'm sure. But I'll make it for y'all and see what y'all think.
Oh, banana pudding's the bomb. So good, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying, if y'all ain't on banana pudding.
I'm thinking the kids.
But the vanilla wafers have to be.
Yeah.
I think that was a determining thing, though. I don't remember. Well, at that point, I wasn't vegan, so I think I used everything the way she did. I'm sure I can make it vegan. It's just getting the pudding that doesn't have whatever in it.
We'll have to do some research. Yeah, it doesn't have the gelatin in it, right?
Yeah, let's do that. What else is there?
I'm trying to think.
It sparked something else, and I just forgot that fast.
Oh, but we're going to talk about traditional Canadian food. We don't really have, as far as food is concerned, there are some French Canadian dishes that are very specific, but what's a typical Canadian dish? Whatever, we eat the same thing in America.
Oh, yak.
Yeah, right, an entire. But the one that's really popular, everybody knows about right now, and it's what I had on Saturday at the show, was the poutine.
Who? Because when I get poutine, it
That's not the right word.
I don't get it at the show.
You know, it's different.
Get after the show.
It's different. It's different.
Unless you meet me in the bathroom.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's different.
What is that?
It's French fries with gravy, like brown gravy and cheese curds on it.
You had that?
Yeah, I was sitting across the table from you. I ate that on Saturday. You didn't see
They had that at the thing?
Yeah. That's everywhere now. Super popular now.
Oh, I was about to say, are they Canadian? I never had that.
Well, they do have clubs in Canada, so maybe there's something with that. I don't know. But we were at the comedy show to see the great Mr. Nate Jackson on Saturday, and he was sitting across the table from me and didn't realize
I didn't. I saw you. It looked like fries, but it was kind of dark. And then because of how I was seated,
you were focused on this.
I missed it. Yeah, I was having fun.
So here's the thing. Poutine used to be the first time I ever had it. I was in Quebec City, and we were at a club, and the club let out at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and everybody just went to like Burger King or someplace like that, and you just got it in the drive-thru, and they're like, it just soaks up the alcohol.
They have it at Burger King up there?
Yeah. It's like, you can get it there. Well, now they got it at a lot of places, but that was the original intention, was in the French Canada. It was just what you ate when you left the bar to just soak up all the alcohol. I
used to do chili cheese fries from Jack in the Box.
Same concept, right? Just soak
like
up the alcohol.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
But that's the only Canadian thing I think of. You can't think of it. I mean, I know collard greens and sweet potatoes pie. Those are the
that's like major, and then you can get into other stuff. That's like, I feel like it might be more like stuffing, or people call it dressing. So,
what do you do? Your family do bread stuffing or rice?
We definitely don't do rice. What are you talking about?
That's I don't do it either, but you can do a rice stuffing in the turkey. I think it has raisins in it.
Oh no, hell no.
I'm gonna look. I think I got a recipe for a rice stuffing with raisins in it. I'm gonna look.
We're gonna pass on that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good, but I think I have a recipe for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get it. Turkey is naturally dry for the most part, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's even more dry. But I don't think you need raisins to make it moist. I know people don't like the word. That's why I use it. But, yeah, I mean, there's other staples, but that would be like stereotypical like fried chicken. And now everybody, now you got Korean barbecue, and there's all type of chicken out there, right? Stuff like that. Chitlins, I never ate.
I should know what chitlins are, and I don't. What are chitlins?
Why should you know? You shouldn't know. It's spelled chitterlings.
I still know what it is.
It's pig intestines.
Mm-hmm.
And it smells like hot garbage when you cook it.
Okay, and how do we eat these?
So, I don't.
No, but
my grandma would make them.
And how did your grandma eat them?
You have to clean them. You have to get the dookie out.
Yeah, I'm sure it's disgusting.
And it smells like dookie.
And then what do you do with it afterwards?
You put hot sauce on it.
You
boil it.
You boil it.
And then they put hot sauce.
Wouldn't it just be super rubbery?
It kind of. My little cousin. Shout out to my little cousin Anitria. She's the only one that would be like, yes. I've never even tried them because of the smell. So even before vegan life, I was like, this smells like sugar honey iced tea.
Because it was.
But again, if you go back, that had to be a survival tactic when they was getting the crumbs and the whatever. So the creative of it is genius.
Right.
I don't know what it tastes like, but that's a black.
See, this is where I need my wife in here. So
that's a staple, man. Chitlins.
Where she's from in Mexico, I don't know why they do this for breakfast, but the breakfast tacos are like they do the tongue and they do the brains and they do the head, like they shave the face meat off, and they're actually really good. I like them, but
you might like chitlins if you get past the smell. It probably tastes good. I'll have to ask my little cousin because I really would never even try it.
Is there a chitlin restaurant here? Can we go?
You know who might have it? Lolo's might, but I doubt it. It's not something that I think it's something that people make at home. I don't think I've ever been to a soul food spot that had chitlins, but I could be wrong.
We have to do some research.
Yeah, and so you could Google it, but it's spelled chitterlings, and we just say chitlins. We don't, we always
that's not one that I've heard anywhere else. That's on you.
Yeah. But we're not making like chitlin pie or nothing, so we are
good.
At least I don't think so.
Good.
But yeah, so I think that's it.
I think we're done.
We'll let y'all ride to the next episode. So shout out to the Patreons in here. Appreciate y'all. We'll get some more of those in here.
That's right.
So if you want more of the same difference, or answer some of these questions, tell us about some weird stuff you eat. You know what I'm saying?
Hit us up in the comments right below.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to holler at y'all, man. Peace, love, and fire ants. Shout out to palm trees. You know how we do. Hey.